Hey my friends, welcome to video 2 of my little series on emotional eating, food addictions, and self-love. So this is video 2. We're going to be talking about emotional eating, which will include stress and boredom. A lot of us, and me especially, used to eat a lot just cause. Again, this is also food addiction, so if you want, you can go watch part 1 if you haven't yet. The link to all the videos, there's 3 of them, are in the description below, so you can go watch those ones which address the same issues but from different angles. We all eat certain things for certain reasons, and emotions are a huge one. PMS, you know, if we're stressed out or really emotional, we just tend to go for food, but we need to start breaking that. And why do we eat foods that gratify us in that moment, but then after we feel guilty, we feel crappy, we get digestive upset, we regret what we did, we wasted money, we tell ourselves this and that, and we feel bad, and then we hate ourselves, and then we gain weight, and we contribute to health issues. This isn't good for us. So when you're stressed out, this is the last thing you need. You don't need something comforting to eat because it's going to make things worse in the long run. You don't want to add to your stress all this guilt and self-loathing and resentment and everything around the food that you're going to eat to comfort yourself. When I'm stressed out, I basically just grab bananas. I grab the easiest, simplest thing that I possibly can and just eat it. I know it's hard, definitely harder when you're stressed out, but I tend to either go either way when I'm stressed out. I either don't eat anything or all I want is junk. So it depends on what kind of stress it is. If I don't want to eat anything, I just try to eat the bananas. The smoothies are really good too. If you're really stressed out, just make a banana and green date smoothie. You need to feed your body. When you're stressed out, if you stop eating, you're going to get even more stressed out. If you're stressed out and you're craving all sorts of crazy things and you start eating chips and chicken, that's not good either because you're going to feel crappy after. And again, it's going to add to the stress that you're already experiencing. So it's better just to say, I don't want to add any more stress to my life. I'm just going to have a banana smoothie. Calm down and take some deep breaths and just go and have some bananas. Most of the time, it's because you're just hungry and you need some food, so just go and grab whatever you can in the fridge. If you know that you're going through a very stressful time, prepare for it. Like if you're coming up on some stressful work, maybe make sure that you have easy fruit around, apples, grapes, whatever, that you can just grab and eat whenever you need to, because that will help you. Sometimes it's just the act of eating that helps. Just eating grapes at your desk can help. Anything that can help. I know stress is really difficult and it's hard on us. Another thing I want to talk about is can't versus I don't want to. This is a huge thing as well. A lot of us get really emotional over what we can't have anymore. We'll say, I can't have that. Or somebody will offer you a piece of pie. Maybe it's vegan, but it's been cooked and you don't want it. You say, oh, I can't have that. I wish I could, but I can't. Blah, 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 blah. And you have all these reasons why you can't have it. Or I can't have steak, or I can't have chocolate. I can't have that cookie. I can't have that muffin. I can't have bagels anymore. I can't. It's creating this perception and mindset that is all full of negativity. And when you're stressed out and emotional, you feel like you're losing control. And control is a huge thing for a lot of people. So if you want to be a little bit more in control of your emotions, instead of saying you can't have it, say I don't want it. One of the things that I learned about finances is if you're trying to save money and you find an item that you really want to buy, instead of saying I can't buy it, just say I don't want to spend my fortune on it. It changes the mindset and it really helps you gain more control in your mind over what you're eating. If you say, I don't want that pie, it gives you control. It makes you feel like you're making the decision. It's not that you can't have it. Of course you can have it. You can eat anything you want. You can eat I would hope you're not eating animal products, but people eat whatever they want. They can. They can eat anything. I can eat anything. I can eat Doritos if I want, but do I want to? That's the thing. It's not that I can't eat them. It's that I don't want to eat them. I have control over my decisions and I don't want to go there. So you need to use that reverse psychology kind of on your mind to help yourself feel like you're more in control and you're not feeling like the food is controlling you because you can't have it. That's a big one as well. It really is about mindset and perception. And when we're not eating enough, we basically just are going to gravitate to those foods that used to make us happy, used to give us instant gratification. But we know that they don't. They do for those first 10 minutes, but it's, again, instant. We need the long-term gratification from that. The health, the body, if you're looking for that, the knowledge that you did something good for the planet and the animals because you didn't eat that. You need to make sure that you eat enough food so that you don't gravitate to those things. Make sure that you eat. It's so huge. People just don't eat enough and they're lacking nutrition. Or they're eating way too much fat and protein and they're not getting all the vitamins and minerals and all the goodness from the fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. They're just focused on fat and protein, which isn't going to sustain you over the long period. We need to have all of those vitamins and minerals. It's so essential. And plus it's easier to digest when you're feeling emotional. The last thing you need is to be gassy and bloated and water retention because it's just going to make you more emotional and you don't need that. Some solutions for emotional eating. Make sure that you have fallback recipes. Now, I have a series called 52 to a New You, and I have a video in the description below about having fallback recipes. I have 5 that are basically my most favorite stuff to eat in the raw food world that I can make very, very, very quickly and easily, and I always have the ingredients on hand at any given time. So if I feel lazy, emotional, stressed out, you name it, I can just go and make those foods. Just get it done and then eat it and you will feel better after. And when you're choosing these healthy foods, you're feeling better that you didn't make that other choice. So it's going to help with your emotions and it's going to help with your mindset and it's going to actually start that new road in your mind that is paved with healthy eating and healthy habits. We don't want to be on that old road where we just, default to pizza. We want to default to the raw foods. And every time that you make that choice, you're paving the way for those healthy choices to just be second nature. And eventually, it's been probably like 500 days almost that I've been raw. And I basically default to my raw food because it's been so long and I've conditioned myself. The other day someone mentioned a bagel and I was like, oh yeah, bagels exist? I forget because they're not part of my life. And they're not part of my life because I made a good choice every single day to eat raw foods. Another thing that can help is to chop things up and keep fruit easily accessible in your fridge or wherever you need to. That helps a lot. Having things on hand, eating enough food, taking yourself away from situations that are going to cause you to have emotional eating binges, taking yourself away from, say, the TV, that's a big one, taking yourself away from stress, meditating, drink water. Drinking water is a really good one. Have a huge glass if you really need to. A lot of people mix hunger and thirst, so most of the time we're just thirsty because we eat way too much salt and cooked foods are actually dehydrating on the body. And I even notice that if I eat a lot of, I don't fully dehydrate my food, but if I do eat some like partially dehydrated foods, I do feel more thirsty because your body actually has to use body water to digest that food. And it's best in its whole form, the way nature made it, because it comes with its own water and your body can digest it super easily that way. So that's a good one. Drink some water. Maybe you're just thirsty. And practice. It's conditioning. It's doing it over and over and over and over again. And if it takes you time to get there, let yourself have the time. Don't beat yourself up over it. Make a better decision the next day. Be better than the next day. And I know you can do it. I did it. I know I did it overnight, and not a lot of people can do that, but you can do it. You can get through those times. Boredom is one that I'm going to add in here. Boredom. We eat when we're bored, so you need to do the usual. Get out, do something different. If you're bored of what you're eating, try finding new recipes. Go online and search for some new raw recipes or vegan or whatever, and experiment with that. Make sure that the food isn't in the house. Don't buy it anymore. Don't buy it anymore. Just simple. When you're in the grocery store, just don't put it in your cart. When you're in a good mood, practice going to the grocery store and saying no to certain things. Like, only do this if you're in a good mood. I'm going to talk about this in the next video, but practice saying no. Practice telling yourself you're worth more than that food. And just practice saying no. The more you say no, the easier that it'll get. Just say, I don't want that, instead of, I can't have that. Again, that's another thing that you can do. Be prepared for days that you know that you're going to have problems. Maybe you know you're going to have stressed out. Maybe you know you're going to be stressed out. Maybe you know your PMS is starting. Be prepared. Make sure that you have enough fruit and vegetables on hand. Make sure that you know your fallback recipes. Make sure that you have all the ingredients for those, so that when you do feel those, you can just go in the kitchen and just make that decision. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know, I've been there. So it does get easier, but you need to do the work and you need to keep practicing. The last thing you can do that I'm going to mention, I'm sure there's many, many other things that you can do, but meditation is another. When you're bored and you feel like you need to have popcorn or whatever, or for me it was going to the mall and grabbing the Chinese food, I would sit down and I would meditate on what I wanted to eat. And I know a lot of people will say, but if I think about the food that I want, it's going to make me want it more. But it doesn't, actually, for most people. And this has been proven with a study. So say I would craving Chinese food and I just wanted to eat it just for the sheer want to eat it because I was bored or whatever. Nothing was going on, so I'm like, I'll just go to the mall and get some Chinese food, which happened very often. So one day I'm bored and I sit on the couch and I think, okay, I'm just going to imagine going to the mall and grabbing this stuff. So I imagine driving to the mall. I imagine getting out of my car, locking my door, walking into the mall, going into the food court, smelling the smells in the food court. I go up to my favorite place and stand in line and I wait. I observe the people around me. I look at the menu. I check out what they have in their buffet. And then when I get to the line, the lady puts the food on my plate, and then I watch her and I choose my stuff and I get to the till and I pay for it. I grab my tray, I go sit down and I start eating it. And this is where it's the best part, is when you actually imagine eating it. You imagine the textures, the flavors, the smell, you know, your emotions around it. And I can guarantee you probably can't get through 3 or 4 bites. And then your brain will be on to something else. If you can even get to the till, let alone actually start eating the food in your mind. Because the mind just jumps around. If it's bored, it needs stimulation. So if you sit down and do that, trust me, you're probably going to start thinking of all the housework that you still need to do. Maybe you need to pick up the kids, blah, 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 blah. You're going to start thinking of other things, which is pretty cool. This helped me a great deal. The more detailed you can get, the better it is. And I noticed that I just naturally stopped doing that because I just naturally didn't have my cravings anymore. So that's another tip that you can do. I've done a few videos on that, which I will also include in the description below. If you guys want to go and check those ones out as well, you're more than welcome to. If you like this little video series, please click like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get notifications when I post more stuff. I also have an ebook that helps you transition over to a raw vegan diet. It's called 52 to a New You. It's 52 weeks to help you go over to a raw vegan diet. You can buy that. It's $5. A link is in the description. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouFood, all at Raw Food Romance. So I'm going to work on the third video next, which is self-love. And we should all love ourselves, so stay tuned for that. Until then, guys, fruit on.